Behind the ordinary facade of a small farmhouse in Plainfield, Wisconsin, lurked a darkness that would shake the very foundations of societal norms. An unassuming man whose ordinary life concealed a nightmarish reality would offer a chilling glimpse into the depths of human depravity. Ed Gein, dubbed the Butcher of Plainfield, is a name that conjures images of horror and fascination.
Ed, you okay?
We all thought that Ed Gein was a strange guy.
He remains an infamous figure whose crimes and psychological intricacies continue to both horrify and captivate the world, continuing to exert his influence on modern pop culture long after his crimes and subsequent death. The lingering question remains: what dark impulses propels a man to commit such heinous acts? Edward Gein was born on August 27, 1906, in La Crosse County, Wisconsin, into a troubled family marked by an alcoholic father and a domineering mother. Raised in a repressive and highly religious environment, Ed's upbringing laid the foundation for his future psychological deviance. His mother, Augusta Gein, wielded an immense influence over him, instilling in him a warped sense of morality and an aversion to women, preaching to her sons that all women apart from herself were naturally promiscuous and instruments of the devil. This tumultuous family dynamic and the strict religious beliefs he absorbed during his formative years played a significant role in shaping the twisted path he would eventually tread. As he grew older, Ed Gein's life was marked by periods of isolation and menial jobs. He found employment as a handyman and farmer, often working odd jobs within his community. However, his introverted nature and the overpowering influence of his mother kept him distant from forming meaningful connections. His experiences with his jobs and limited social interactions only deepened his isolation, furthering his dependency on his mother's views and shaping his skewed perception of the world. Tragedy would strike in 1940 when Ed Gein's father passed away, leaving him alone with his mother. Their already close and unusual relationship grew even more intense. But this familial bond was shattered in 1945 when Augusta Gein passed away from a stroke. This loss had a profound psychological impact on Ed, unraveling his fragile sense of stability and plunging him into a deep sense of grief and loneliness. The emotional trauma of losing his mother became entwined with his understanding of death and his distorted view of women. His descent into madness would culminate in a series of heinous crimes that shocked both his local community and the world at large. Ed Gein's unsettling activities began with grave robbing. He began to visit local cemeteries where he exhumed the bodies of recently deceased women. Ed often targeted women he believed resembled his mother, seeking to recapture the connection he had lost. His necrophiliac tendencies led him to engage in acts of unimaginable perversions with the corpses. In the confines of his desolate farmhouse, Ed's sinister creativity found an outlet in crafting some gruesome and disturbing artifacts. He constructed furniture, lampshades, and other household items using human remains, particularly skin and bones. But perhaps one of the most chilling aspects of Ed Gein's crimes was his attempt to fashion a woman's suit. In his delusional state, Edward aimed to craft a garment from the skin of his victims, allowing him to physically assume the appearance of his mother and literally crawl into her skin. Ed Gein's reign of terror came to a crashing halt on November 16, 1957. When he was finally apprehended by law enforcement. The breakthrough in the case occurred when Ed became a suspect in the disappearance of hardware store owner Bernice Wardens. On the day of his capture, authorities entered Ed's farmhouse and uncovered the nightmarish scene. The grisly evidence of his crimes, including human remains, artifacts made from skin, and the grotesque woman's suit left authorities and the public shocked. Ed Gein's arrest may have marked the end of his reign of terror, but it also provided a disturbing glimpse into the depths of his depravity. The details that emerged during the investigation painted a picture of a deranged man driven to commit unspeakable acts. It was revealed that between 1947 and 1952, Ed made as many as 40 visits to 3 local graveyards to exhume recently buried bodies. He also admitted to stealing from 9 graves, leading investigators to their locations. The caskets were inside wooden boxes, the top boards running sideways below the surface of the soil. Ed would rob the graves soon after the funerals, while the graves were still incomplete. The suspicions that Ed may have been involved in the disappearance of Bernice Wardens would be confirmed when his head was found in a burlap sack in Ed's home. Upon his capture, a 16-year-old youth whose parents were friends with Ed would reveal a haunting detail that cast a sinister shadow over their interactions. Ed harbored a collection of what he purported to be shrunken heads, allegedly procured as relics from the Philippines by a cousin who had served on the islands during World War II. But upon closer inspection, the grotesque artifacts were human remains. Ed Gein's dark legacy extended beyond his immediate circle, casting a long shadow over Wisconsin's unsolved cases. Among these cases was the disappearance of Evelyn Hartley, a young babysitter from La Crosse who vanished without a trace in 1953. On November 14, 1963, Ed Gein was found guilty but legally insane for his gruesome crimes. He was committed to Central State Hospital in Waupun, Wisconsin, where he spent the rest of his life under psychiatric care. Ed Gein's story has since become a wellspring of inspiration for writers, filmmakers, and artists. Iconic fictional characters like Norman Bates and Leatherface drew inspiration from Ed's crimes. His case has become a fascination for psychologists, criminologists, and those intrigued by the darker complexities of the human mind.
If it was in the afternoon, people were starting to wonder why the store was locked, and where was Bernice Warden.
So her son came back from deer hunting himself and found that the place was a mess.
Core, Ed Gein's cultural impact forces society to confront uncomfortable truths about the human condition. His crimes, his psychology, and the indelible mark he left on popular culture serve as a reminder that the potential for darkness resides within all of us. By delving into the depths of Gein's disturbed mind, we are compelled to question the fragility of societal norms and the capacity for monstrous acts that can emerge under the right circumstances. On July 26, 1984, Ed Gein passed away at the Mendota Mental Health Institute, succumbing to respiratory failure as a result of lung cancer. He was 77 years old at the time of his death. In the years following his demise, morbid curiosity led souvenir seekers to chip away fragments from his gravestone in Plainfield Cemetery. This unsettling trend escalated to the point where the entire gravestone was stolen in 2000. However, the stone was subsequently recovered in June 2001, near Seattle, Washington, and was then placed in storage at the Waushara County Sheriff's Department. Although the gravesite remains unmarked, the knowledge of Gein's interment between his parents and brother in the same cemetery endures. Ed Gein's unsettling legacy continues to intrigue and disturb.
How long, Mr. Seven? 7 years. What kind of a man did you know him as? Well, a nice man, just like anybody else. The only difference I'd say in the man, he seems to be a little odd.
Shedding light on the complexities of human psychology and society's fascination with the macabre. His heinous crimes and disturbed mind have left an indelible mark on popular culture, inspiring iconic characters and shaping the horror genre. Ed Gein's case serves as a chilling exploration of the intersection between trauma, isolation, and deviant behavior, inviting psychologists and criminologists to delve deeper into the motivations behind his actions. Ed Gein's impact on society's collective consciousness is a reminder of the darker aspects of human nature that can emerge under certain circumstances. His story raises uncomfortable questions about the thin line between normalcy and monstrosity, compelling us to contemplate the fragility of societal norms. If you enjoy content like this, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single video. Have a good day and be safe out there.